You, them, they, him, her. They did this, he did this, she did that. Those are words that, in a process of self-discovery, a process of taking self-responsibility, we need to be very careful about using. Especially when it comes to things like, he made me feel this way. She was mean to me. They did this to me. They made me experience myself in this way. They made me small. They made me angry. In those contexts where we place that responsibility of our personal inner reactions and responses onto the people around us. And this is something that is so common. It's like it's become an offhand way to discuss how we experience ourselves. Like, oh no, yes, I'm angry because she made me angry. Duh. Or, yes, I'm hurt because she hurt me. He hurt me. They did this which hurt my feelings, and therefore I am justifiably hurt. But the truth is that we are the ones who are responsible for our responses. We are response-able. We are able to respond. And no one can force us to feel any particular way. No one can force us to feel anger. No one can force us to feel hurt. Yes, there are situations where people do things that we would not do to them, where people do things that they would not want done to them. But we are still responsible for how we respond to those situations. It's a very slippery slope, assigning blame to other people for how we're feeling, for projecting that responsibility onto them. Because by doing that, we are essentially disempowering ourselves. We're saying that I do not have the ability or the capacity to determine how I feel, how I respond to situations, how I address myself in those situations. I am completely at the mercy of the people around me whose actions influence me so completely that I simply have no control. That is essentially what we are saying. Obviously, in the moment that it's happening, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like we are defending our honor. We feel like we are defending ourselves because we are righteously responding to a situation that is our response is very justified. It doesn't feel like we're giving our power away, because it feels in that moment like we're empowering ourselves. But the truth is that it's the opposite. As inflated as we're feeling when we point fingers and assign blame, the truth is that it's just an illusion. That's just a way to make ourselves feel better. That's just a way to make ourselves believe that we are, oh shame, poor, we're the victim, poor me, I'm the victim. Look at what was done to me. And everything that comes with that. It's almost like we don't want to accept and admit that we had that response that just came from us. It's like we don't want to see that I have created this response within me. I am responsible. Because if I'm responsible, that means that there must be something like, is that really me? Is that really who I want to be? Do I really want to be this person who gets angry or emotional in these kinds of difficult situations? And the other big part of it is we don't want to face ourselves. We don't want to face what those emotions are actually telling us about our relationship with ourselves. We don't want to face what that anger actually represents, the memories that it traces back to, where it comes from within our lives, because looking into those kind of things can be difficult. We don't want to face those difficult parts of ourselves, of our lives. So there's all these different reasons that we're trying to deflect this responsibility off of us. We're trying to make other people responsible for how we're feeling. So what I would like to suggest is, every single time that you use the words you, they, him, her, his, hers, she, all of these types of words that are in their very nature most of the time assigning the focus of what you're about to say or think onto someone else, be very aware and very sure of what you're about to think or say. Are you about to assign blame? Are you about to project responsibility? Are you about to make yourself the innocent one, the innocent victim who's been harmed? And instead of saying they, them, he, she, take a moment to replace that term that you're going to use with I, me, mine, and see how the context changes. Just as an experiment, see how you can actually reflect on the aspect of self-responsibility that's involved. Because in any given situation where more than one person is involved, which is almost all of the situations in our lives, there's never only one person who's responsible, or even one person who's more or less responsible. Every situation, we're equally responsible in contributing to creating it. So these are moments where we can ask ourselves, okay, how did I create this? What is my point of self-responsibility here? What can I learn from this situation? Even in situations where someone does something, like let's say you are teaching someone how to do something and you forgot to warn them to be careful of doing this one particular thing, but they went and did it and you got caught up in it. And yes, it was their action. Yes, you were not maybe directly involved in that moment. However, because you were teaching them, there is that aspect of responsibility that comes through. You cannot blame them for what happened. What you can do is learn from that situation. You can take what happened and make a point to remind yourself to be thorough in how and what you are showing people, for example. So, okay, I hope that's all come through clearly. Play with that point of pushing self-responsibility, of experimenting with how can I take responsibility in this situation, within this experience, within this dynamic that's happening here, and see what changes. And don't just do it for a day or a week. Do it for a year or two and see how that actually has the potential to change so many relationships, including your relationship with yourself in your life. All right. So the key to self-empowerment is self-responsibility. It's realizing that we create ourselves. We are responsible for what we do, for what we say, for what we feel, for what we think, and everything that comes from that. And in that, we create our lives. Anyway, that's it for now. If you'd like me to cover any other topics, or if you'd like me to expand on any points within this video, then leave a message or a comment and I will do that. Otherwise, if you'd like to support me, you can do that on Patreon. The link is below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.